Today I want to talk about my most favorite attachment for my tractor, and my skid steer can also be used on that. Initially I wanted something that I could pick up brush with, because this property was forested about 5 to 10 years ago. There's a lot of brush lying around. I wanted something to easily go in, grab the brush, take it out without handling it as much as possible. So this is the original reason I bought this. Ends up didn't actually, here's the unit right here, didn't actually work as well as I had thought. It is a Chinese attachment. It's actually very well built. This thing, I've had it for 2 years. It has gone through the ringer with me. It's only got one cylinder. Initially I thought, well, I didn't have a lot of money to spend at the time, so I bought this one. It was only about 1,500 Canadian for the whole unit, but ended up getting it to clear the brush, and found out it didn't really do it that well. But what it does do is it picks up rocks, because it's more precise. It's not wide, overly wide, so you're not grabbing more than what you want to grab. So for rocks, I've used it on my other videos. You can see me loading that dump truck with rocks. It's good for individually picking them up. This tractor lifts about 2,700 pounds, so that part of it is good. Now I have jammed these teens into the ground and pried rocks hundreds of times, and that there is the only damage I ever did, and that's just my abuse. But this thing is built like a tank. It has got, like I said, it's got one cylinder. It's fully open right now, but since plucking rocks with it and digging and plucking rocks, I also use it to load wood on my sawmill, because it's very delicate. You can actually just place the log on the sawmill without, rolling it on, rolling it off. Like, I know guys use forklifts, forks, but the problem is you can't catch it if it gets going too fast to roll off the other side of the mill, or it actually bumps the mill and misaligns your tracks. So basically, yes, I don't know the brand name of it, but when it came, the steel is at least 3/8 to half an inch. And like I said, I have probably plucked 700 rocks with this thing out of the ground, and it doesn't bend at all. Once this became that type of piece of equipment for me, where like a do everything, and not so much with doing brush, I ended up again at a Ritchie auction, bought what would be better for brush. And then once I've gotten it, I've used it a few times, and that's all it's good at. It's a full-size 72-inch root rake. Let me see if you can see it here. This is not good for picking rocks out, because you don't have the precision. It just takes a big chunk of the ground. So it is good for brush though, which is originally what I bought that for. This is better for that, but I end up using that more often for other things. So with all the attachments that I have for my tractor, I would have to say that the attachment is used the most. I know it's one of those things where you buy things, you see things online and guys are using them, and you think, hey, that would be cool, I need that. And then you get it and you barely use it, because it's just that it's just the way it goes. Like, you think you're going to use it more. Like, I would say in a ratio, I use that the most, then I use the forks second the most. The bucket is good for small jobs, but you can't carry enough in it, in my opinion. And I built this out of an old set of forks that I had. This is basically like a debris bin. This I use a lot, and it's great for clearing brush, because you can fit so much in it. You can't dig rocks with it, of course, because it's not that strong. But those forks are an old set I had that I had actually bent one of the forks, so that is actually welded as part of that now. So those forks were a sacrifice to make this unit. This I use a lot for cleaning the property. It's all I use for cleaning the property. And like I said, and then the dozer blade, which basically is a dozer blade, but I use it for a snowplow. I use that too in the wintertime. But yeah, most used implement, this thing right here. So if most tractors come with a regular bucket, if you're thinking about buying something, like I said, don't look at these and say they're good for picking up brush, because they're not. They're too. You can see I made a. Let's see if I can hold you straight here. This to weld onto there, so it would help sort of grab on to the brush a bit better. But it didn't work. It didn't work. But that one over there is better for brush. But anyways, this is the best thing, the most used implement I have at the moment. So let's show you what I can do with it. So there you go. You can see that it's a lot more delicate than forks, and better than doing it by hand. So I've got this section of tree. This tree blew over, pulled up the roots, laid right across my driveway. So this is one of those examples where I'm going to use that front grabber. I've already got the 3 logs off of it, brought them back to the mill, delimbed it. That's the top of the tree right there, so I'll just leave that till the spring. But now I've got the that's a 11-footer. I've cut it at the root already, so I'm gonna try to get it out. It's kind of in a weird spot, and I want to pluck it out with this attachment. So I'll show you one of the many uses I use it for. I'm kind of in a weird spot here because I'm across the driveway. The snowbank's in the front and the back, so there's not a lot of room. So let's see if I can drag it out. There you go. So basically now we just take it to the sawmill area. Maybe a bit like that. That was uneventful, which is good. So to work this unit, you need hydraulics up front. But what we did, we cheated. I could buy the switching mechanism for the bucket control. You can switch hydraulics back and forth, but I just figured, why would I want to spend over $1,000 to get that apparatus hooked up to the gun when I can just come back here? And what we did is, this is the remote line for the rear, and we just ran hoses. I just ran hoses from here, from the back right up to the front, zip tied them along the chassis, and then brought them up here. So the only problem is with this is that you either can use the front or the back. You can't use them both at the same time. But I guess you can get a switching panel as well for that to switch it, but I rarely need both at the same time. So right now it's hooked up to run this, and it runs off the control lever, that one right there, that runs the back hydraulics. You use it for like the snow blower, aim the chute, stuff like that. So yeah, while I have this hooked up, I just basically cheated and did it that way. I don't know what your tractor's like, but that's how you get around that problem. And then other than that, yeah, it's my most used implement for not what I originally bought it for, but moving logs around is excellent. But anyways, all right.